Bella, you are presenting the new love and relationship show that we all desperately need in our lives. It's the most honest show I've ever seen. How does it feel being part of that?
I'm glad you think that it's the most honest show you've ever seen. That's definitely the intention. Yeah, it's actually really cool. I didn't really know what to expect. I've never done like hosting before. It's not something that I've had a lot of practice at, but it's definitely something that I was interested in. And this topic is something that I talk about a lot with my friends. Like, I've always been known among my friends as the one that likes to get into the nitty gritty about sex and dating and things like that. And I've always been a little bit too nosy in my friends' relationships, but aren't we all? So yeah, it was it was a great opportunity when Badoo approached me about it. It was very much a collaboration, and they wanted me to be as involved as they were with the topics and who's on the show with me. And so it was like being in a living room having these, honest chats that you would have with your friends minus the wine. So it was a fun week. It was really, really cool.
So good, so important. So Badoo is the dating app, and Badoo is an app which its tagline, it's like the most honest way to date. And I've downloaded it. We're going to be playing on it later, but it's very honest. You have to answer a lot of questions before you're allowed on this app to start on it. But I was thinking, did you have to download it? And because you've got a partner, haven't you? So were you just swiping? It's work, I swear to God.
I don't have to download it in a sense to use it, but I've got a pretty good understanding of how the app works, and I think that as the more time that I worked with Badoo, the more I learned about the app and the way that they operate differently to other dating apps, and I think that's what drew me to working with them in the first place. And yeah, it's just been a really fun couple of weeks, and I've really enjoyed trying my hand at presenting and talking about things that I do understand or don't understand, and learning a lot from the guests that we've had. And I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely, it is a joy to see you presenting. It's so good because I think because you're so sort of relaxed and you're having just these open chats, you feel like you're literally watching your mates having a chat about love and relationships, which I think is key. Have you got a favourite chat that you've had with anyone, or is there anyone that you learnt the most from?
I liked a lot of them for different reasons. I really enjoyed the chat with Jamie Rains and Vasjay Morgan because that's a topic that I don't really understand. I'm straight, and so I've never had any experiences like them. I've never questioned my sexuality or my sexual identity, and so having Jamie sit there and answer my questions so honestly, be so open, and to understand that sharing his experiences are helping other people and not wanting them to feel as alone as he did when he was first going through his transition, was really, really inspiring, and just really selfless, and just I was blown away by it really, and I felt really humbled to have had my questions answered by him. But yeah, then there was some really funny ones. I really enjoyed the Chunks and Portia Ferrari chat, just because Chunks is hilarious, and obviously he doesn't believe in astrology, so that made for a really funny episode.
So good. That's one of my favourite ones. I love that one because I'm obsessed with the universe, manifestation, planets, the moon, bit of me. But when it comes to maybe how you attracted your relationship into your life, did you ever think about sort of that kind of stuff, manifestation or star signs, or were you just no, I know what I'm looking for, that's not a part of it?
My mum's really always been quite superstitious, and I'm superstitious, but probably not in a horoscope kind of way. Horoscopes have never really been a deal breaker for me. If anything, I've only ever leaned on them whenever I've wanted it to tell me something I needed to hear. When you've broken up with somebody and you need your horoscope to be well done, good choice. This is good for you. Things are looking up. That's all I ever really looked to my horoscope for. Until I got a bit older and understood a little bit more about it, and a couple of my friends are really into it. So there's parts of it that I do really appreciate, and like I said, I like to use for my own benefit. But when it comes to relationships, I don't know, I've just never really been that prepared. I think I've always been friends with my relationships before they've ever turned into something. So I've always had a really good understanding of what that person is about and what they're like, and what their, humor is like, and what their hobbies are. And so we've always just sort of naturally gravitated towards each other because of a friendship that's built up over time. And that's definitely the case with my relationship at the moment. Like, we were friends years before we even moved in.
Love that.
But they do say, someone told me once, that you've met the person you're going to end up with by the time you're 21.
I heard that.
So there's like a weird statistic to
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? But it's true.
Yeah, well, I know. I spoke to a psychic recently, just for jokes, and then she was like, "What's your boyfriend's star sign?" I was like, he hasn't got one, hun. Like, I've not got one. And she was like, "No, you have. He's in your life now." And I'm like, "Show yourself." Where is he?
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
That's really cool, though.
Love
I
it.
just like look around. Right now, Romeo.
So I know, honest to God, like, still looking. Have you got any like top tips for like sort of attracting the right one in a sense, but like in the sense that it, like, you know, it kind of comes from you being like super secure, right? And then that's like the way to bring them in. So have you got any like top tips of like how to like lift your own self-esteem in order to bring the right one in?
I mean, I had this conversation with my friend recently that I just feel like we put so much pressure on ourselves to be in traditional relationships because that's what we've grown up understanding is the normal and is what is expected of us. But actually, I think that in order to be in a long-term relationship, you have to be so happy and comfortable in your own skin and your own company and your own space before you bring somebody into that. And like, I've definitely been like guilty of it in the past when I've not been feeling 100% and I've been feeling needy and I've been feeling, and you know, you go to that ex and you call up that person because that's something that you need, and it's like a default reaction as opposed to something that you actually need. And I think my advice for, you know, hopefully starting and being in a relationship for a long time, I think, is being 100% happy and content in yourself and your own company, that if you were to ever lose whatever person came into your life, you would survive. I think that's the one thing that I've learned over the years, is that I need to learn to be okay with myself before I allow somebody to come into my space.
When it comes to shows like The Truth Flirts, because obviously it's so honest and like there's no stone unturned, do you think, because your chat that you had with Megan Barton-Hanson and Sarah Mulwindwer, that one was like amazing. You're like talking about periods, you're talking about orgasm gaps, like no one talks about this stuff. It's so good. So do you think like shows like this are going to be our new like education going forward? Because sex ed in schools is just awful.
I think there's definitely a space for it, particularly because when you're at school and you're learning about sex ed, and let's face it, it's a very short subject that you learn at school, and they don't make it fun, they don't make it interesting, they don't make it in any way about pleasure, they make it about the facts and the dots and like crossing the dots or whatever it is. And I think that shows like this really allow young people to understand that it's okay to be talked about. When you see your idol, like somebody like, I know that Megan's got a lot of fans and a lot of people look up to her, and you've got somebody like Megan being as open and honest about sex, about orgasms, about not faking it, and about, you know, like your sexual preferences, and then you hear your idol speak about that so candidly, I think that takes away the tension and the sort of taboo around the topic. And I think that shows like The True Flirts are fantastic because you're not sat in a classroom with 30 friends laughing at seeing a penis rock up on screen because your teacher stood in front of you. Like, you'll be at home watching on your laptop and it's something you can take in your own space. You're not worried about being the class clown. So I definitely think that The True Flirts could be really helpful for educational purposes. I personally, as a young person, would have loved to have had access to things like this to learn and to feel okay about the things that I was exploring and suddenly discovering at that age.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got to ask you, because I'm looking for a husband.
Aren't we all,
like,
babe? All right, I'm an expert now.
It's been popping off, I'm not gonna lie. I'm very photogenic.
Well, good. I mean, you look photogenic from where I'm sat, so I don't think it's going to take very long, to be honest.
Okay, so we've got a lot of DMs already, but we're gonna swipe first. Let's see, like, let's take the reins and like let's swipe.
Yeah.
This one, can you see this? Jax.
What's got in his hand?
Is it champagne or it's champagne?
What is that in his hand?
He's celebrating us getting married. Jax, you're too much.
So presumptuous.
No, it looks like he's up the Eiffel Tower as well, which I'm kind of up for. Up the Eiffel Tower. He's all right, you know.
I thought it was New York.
I don't know how I feel about anyone up the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, is he? Nah, football.
Oh my god, my psychic said that I was going to get with a footballer. And I was like, no, it's not my type. Is this the one that she was telling me about?
I mean,
The thing is, like, you're asking for my opinion on this guy, but, like, you're showing me all the things that just don't really appeal to me personally. So if this appeals to you, let me know. But, the Eiffel Tower is a very standard place to go.
in Paris.
He's probably
Very
there with
beautiful
his
place to
girlfriend.
Exactly, yeah, what? Yeah. Yeah, he's cropped her out the picture.
I love that. And for that reason, I've just sent him a message saying hello. Okay, now we've got
Oh, strong moustache.
strong task
Strong.
game. He's very honest. See, this is how honest the whole dating app situation is. Like, you've got to fill out a lot of stuff.
Okay, we'll read out some honest...
Okay, this is honest stuff. What kind of music do you like to listen to? And he said, I'm easy. I like to listen to everything.
So honest. Not specific, but so honest. I like everything except classical.
He needs to be more honest. He's clearly a Robert. We can't build this foundation of lies. Let's have a look. This one's got a crush on me. He's called S. Vlad. He's 26. He's from King's Lynn.
Oh, like, I don't know how I feel about a profile picture with sunglasses on, though. Like, it's not very honest, is it?
Not very
to be wearing
honest. It's not honest at all.
The thing is with pictures is that, like, I don't think I would have dated half of my exes based on their pictures. In fact, most of my exes, their pictures wouldn't have done it for me. So, like, I don't think that you can date somebody based on their profile picture. That's exactly why someone like, the app Badoo is fantastic, because they ask you so many questions. There's so much detail, apart from Bob and his, open-minded music choices. Like, there is you can learn so much about somebody before you've even spoken to them, and then it's up to you to get in there.
That is so true. Okay, right. So that's done. I'm going to get a husband in like 3 to 6 days. I'll keep you updated with who it is. Comes the wedding. It's going to be beautiful. Say that again.
They sound just as keen as you do, so it's going to happen. I'm sure it depends how long the relationship's going to last. I think no rush. There's no need to, jump to the next step before you've met them in person.
That's it. No rush. And that's okay. So to finish up the interview, I just want all of your top tips. So obviously not rushing. That's a really good one. I like that. Taking time.
I think also like being creative with dating, because, going to a restaurant or a bar is obviously the standard go-to thing to do. But I think a date can really be like an expression of who you are and what you enjoy. And particularly on a first date, when you're trying to impress somebody or you're trying to not win somebody over, but like, get to know them, what better way to do it than something that, you're familiar with? So like, if you've got a favorite cuisine or like a favorite hobby, go and do that. Like I said on the series, don't take me ice skating. I hate ice skating. But, if you love Caribbean food, take me to the best Caribbean restaurant in London. If you enjoy cooking, let's go and do a cooking class together, or let's go and do something extreme that's not ice skating. So for me, I think even when you are actually dating somebody consistently, even those dates need to be interesting. I love finding out what's going on in London when things are going on in London, and discovering little pop-ups and markets and walks that we can go on. And we've just got a puppy, so like we're constantly trying to find new parks and like parts of England that we're allowed to go to in these times and walk the dog, so I think like what I'm trying to say is just you've got to keep it interesting, you've got to keep it creative. No matter how long you've been with somebody, it's in your interest and theirs to constantly be thinking of new fun things for you to do together. Just keep that love alive.
Love that. So important. I'm so excited. I want to go on a date now. I'm ready.
I don't.